Please be seated. So I got a really great gospel narrative to talk about today. We've got a crazy naked guy, we've got tombs, chains, shackles, thousands of demons, stampeding pigs plunging to their death, and a lot of freaked out people. Now that sounds more like Halloween or a Halloween movie than a gospel reading. So take a breath. May the words of my mouth and the meditations of our hearts be always acceptable in thy sight, O Lord, our strength and our Redeemer. Amen. So let's go back to the beginning, and I'm going to kind of set the stage for you. Jesus decided kind of, matter-of-factly, almost on a whim it seems, to get in a boat and sail across the Sea of Galilee with the disciples to this Gentile land opposite the region of Galilee. Now during this voyage, a strong and wicked storm had come up with wind and waves that were threatening to swamp their boat. Jesus had been sleeping through all this, but the disciples were afraid for their lives and woke him up. He stilled the wind, and he calmed the waves. He was exerting power over the wind and the water, which kind of brought to my mind the picture of creation. So the disciples are asking among themselves, who is this person with power over the wind and water? Now mind you, they had already seen him perform miracles, healings, they had heard him speak, and they're still wondering, who is this person? Now they arrive at the shore, probably very thankful to be back on dry land again, hoping to calm their nerves, and they are confronted by this naked, very strong, crazy-acting person. He's an outcast. He's dwelling among the dead, definitely unclean, definitely possessed by demons, really not the kind of person you would want to associate with. And yet he immediately recognizes Jesus as the Son of the Most High God. He recognizes Jesus, even if the disciples aren't sure. He understands the power Jesus possesses because he even begs Jesus not to torment him. He doesn't ask for help or healing, just to be left alone. As the letter to the Hebrews says, it is a fearful thing to fall into the hands of the living God. This unclean outcast is so strong that people of the country can't even control him with shackles and chains. Yet Jesus, very calmly, speaks to him, asking his name. The man identifies himself not by his own name, but by all the demons that inhabit him. The name he gives is Legion. Now, a legion represented about 5,000 to 6,000 Roman soldiers. There's kind of a little side story there, too. Thinking about soldiers that were unclean. The demons are unclean. Even more surprising, Jesus actually negotiated with the demons and agrees to send these demons into a fittingly unclean herd of pigs. The demons can't seem to escape their fate, though, as the possessed crazed pigs leap off a cliff into the lake. Perhaps not unlike the abyss or the bottomless pit that they really wanted to avoid. Of course, these events cause quite a buzz, and soon there's a crowd of people. To their astonishment, they find the formerly naked crazy guy now appropriately clothed and in his right mind, transformed, resurrected, the dead given new life by the grace of God. They were so afraid that they invited Jesus to leave their country. They had learned to coexist after a fashion with this possessed man. It was Jesus they were so afraid of that they didn't want him there. They had come to terms with this man. They had a system. They knew what to expect. And then Jesus came along and upset the apple cart. What were they afraid of? I think they were afraid of the power of the living God. I don't know if I can blame them. It must have been very frightening to have God in your midst. Perhaps demons and pigs are just the tip of the iceberg. The Son of the Most High God could really change things up if you let him. It's just so much easier to keep things the way they are, to deal with the demons you know, rather than risk a change. Imagine if the real physical presence and power of the living God showed up among us. Would everything we do and say, every decision we make, please God? Would his presence be a little unsettling? It's easy for us to make peace with our demons, personal demons, cultural demons, world demons. And they have names like fear, envy, jealousy, greed, anger, entitlement, and prejudice, just to name a few. We can live in the tombs, chained and held back by our demons, but Jesus has the power to offer a new way. Redemption and resurrection can be scary because they mean a different way of life, a new reality instead of the familiar tombs. So I think this gospel narrative has a couple of takeaways. The awesome power of God. No one, not even a crazy naked guy, is beyond help. Jesus loved this man, even in his unclean, disheveled state. And Jesus made this trip all the way there and back to help just one suffering soul. So I'm going to leave you with the question that all of us can consider. What is a way that you and I can let the awesome power of Jesus change us and work in us?